Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Space Engineers Plus Me episode 30. I'm Enigmus and today we're on the moon. We're not actually on the moon, we're slightly above the moon. We're using our jetpack to get around. We can land on the moon in our spacesuit and walk around. It's very slow, just like anything else, it's very slow. The nice thing about this is the gravity is so low we don't use a lot of fuel when we're flying around. So I've got some spare hydrogen tanks, some spare oxygen tanks so I don't suffocate, and just getting used to the whole idea of being not on a planet, I guess you could say, and enjoying the landscape. As moons go, it's not too bad. You know, you're not expecting trees and foliage and lakes and fish and deer running around and all that other stuff. It's barren, it's gray, and it's a moon. Now, I've got the drill out so that we can take advantage of the ore detector that's attached to our little hand drill, and possibly, hopefully, find a platinum deposit closer to our ship than the one we located previously. You can see down here we found a dark spot, so we'll zoom in and see if there's anything there. Our ship is still basically in orbit above the moon. We don't have enough fuel to make a landing. So while we're on our way to the platinum deposit that we found previously, just trying to keep an eye out for what might be available so that we can, save a little bit of transit time to and from. There's some magnesium and interesting things. I've decided that the next ship that we make to take to a planet, I guess it'll be the Mars-like planet, we're going to start putting guns on it. And the reason is, I want to activate the Cyberoids, the alien spider guys, and maybe even reactivate the Cyberhounds on the Earth-like planet. We'll see. Apparently they're going to be disabling the explosions from the Cyberhounds, so that's something to keep an eye out for me anyways. And if they do that, then we'll probably re-enable them and have turrets all over our ships to shoot at them as they spawn so that we don't have to worry about them. It's kind of like turning them off in a different way, really, when you get down to it. They're really only a challenge when you don't have guns to deal with them. If you have guns and ammunition, it's not really that bad. That's what I found when I was messing around with the easy start modes, where they give you a great big base and it's got 2 turrets on it and it's got all kinds of ammunition and storage. But we'll see how it goes. So magnesium is definitely one of the things that we're going to be looking to extract from wherever we happen to be when we're doing our extraction operations. But for right now, we're not really finding a whole lot of... Look at all these splodgy bits, though. I mean, we're finding lots of stuff, but we're just not finding stuff that is actually, the kind of thing that we would want to set up a mining operation. We're going to take a look at the ship that I made to do lunar mining, and it's kind of in prototype stages. There's still some improvements that I would like to make to it relative to what you're going to see here. But for now, it was good enough that we basically just kind of cruise around on the moon, find our platinum deposit, and then start extracting some of the platinum, which you see here. This is what it's all about. This whole trip has been about this stuff right here. It doesn't take a long time to gather up a full spacesuit full of platinum and, take it back to the ship. But it's still, you know what I mean? It's right on the line between this is so pathetic as to be a waste of time, how little I'm bringing back, and this is okay, I could do this forever. It's kind of in there, not in a very good place, if that makes any sense at all. If we can do it better, we would like to do it better. So I got the idea that what we should do is make a ship that would allow us to handle specifically that task. Now, the idea that I had for the ship was maybe taking advantage of the lower the lower gravity, to revisit the idea of a ship with a rotating drill head assembly, similar to what we have on the planet with the Mantis and the drill head assembly there. Not with the horizontal bits, because that would just be lunacy, I think, but something where you can take advantage of a handful of drill heads to cover a large area without taking necessarily a ton of time, extract the stuff that you want, dig to the depth that you need to dig, and then move on. Get on to the next area where you want to dig, do all those other things with plenty of storage so that you're not running back to your ship and unloading every 30 seconds, because that's where things start to get old. So I actually came up with the rotating head assembly, and I encountered the same difficulty that I had when I tried the same thing down on the planet a while back. I don't even remember exactly what vehicle we were working on, where we had... it was the leech, the ore leech. It was a blue ship, and we had rotating assembly on pistons, and every time we would start up the ship, all of the pistons would detach. We know about this now. All of the pistons would detach, and then the assembly would sit in the little opening that we had made for it, and when you try to lift the ship, the front end wouldn't lift because it was weighted down by the stuff that was there. I encountered basically the same thing in this design, only everything stayed attached. We didn't have any pistons, we just had the one rotor to allow things to rotate, but it didn't want to lift the front end, and I thought, oh crap, I'm not going to be able to deal with this. So this is what I came up with as an alternative, which is a bunch of stationary drill heads attached to the ship, and then you dig this stuff, and it goes down, and it works. It suits the purpose for which it was constructed, but it wasn't impressive. It was kind of like, yeah, this is not only predictable, it's a square hole for one thing, and it's not really interesting. You're sitting there, and it's kind of like you could practically turn everything off, turn off the dampeners, turn off the thrusters, just let the weight of the ship kind of keep pushing it down if you really wanted to. That wasn't the kind of situation that I was hoping for. So I took it back to the ship and rebuilt it. I put the rotating assembly back on the front, only this time I put thrusters on the rotating assembly and gyros that are there for the same reason that you have gyros on the ship, to keep everything stationary when you're not specifically telling it to go somewhere. So the idea was, between the thrusters and the gyros on the drill assembly, it would save us the problem of having this whole thing that didn't want to move with the rest of the ship. And it kind of worked. It actually, this ship has a very strange tendency to veer off and do odd things when you're not expecting it. You can be flying basically in a straight line, or traveling, I should say, in a straight line through space, zero gravity, thrusters off, dampeners off, everything is off, and all of a sudden the ship will just veer off in a different direction. It is the weirdest thing. I don't know if it's working as intended. There's something going on that I'm not aware of. Nothing on the ship appears to be moving. It just completely changes course. When you get it down towards the surface and you start spinning the drills and you start rotating the mechanism and all these other things, and it starts digging, it actually works and does a pretty decent job. It makes a large enough hole that you don't have to worry about the sides of the ship banging off the walls as it goes deeper and deeper. There's enough room that as long as you're being a little bit cautious about how you're advancing down into the hole, you don't have to worry too much about damaging the ship on the walls. The one thing that I found is that under, basically all things being equal, it's slow. It feels very slow for the amount of time that you spend waiting between pushing it down into the rock and then letting it go around and clear everything out of the way. It takes several spins because it's spinning a little fast. Pushing it down again, letting it spin, do its thing. So that's going to be something that I'm going to be working on to just kind of sort out and see if we can. We're probably going to add some more drills in strategic locations to help it clear out just a little bit faster. But fortunately, we solved our problem of not wanting to have the nose lifted, which was the one thing that obviously, if you can't control it, just trying to get it to move to go in a general direction, how are you going to control it when it's down on the ground and you can't afford to have the thing just twisting 90 degrees and slamming into tunnel walls? So that was a little bit of a concern. Now that we've got it sorted out, I feel much better about it. As far as it drifting off, completely changing course for no reason, that's easily corrected by turning on the dampeners and the thrusters, and the ship will come to a stop, or at the very least you can readjust your course. It's just one of those minor things as opposed to the major detail of it having a very substantial negative impact on the maneuverability of the ship. So what I really want to do is stockpile a good amount of platinum, and then I've decided our next project is going to be on a very massive scale. It's going to be a vehicle. It's going to be a very, very large vehicle. The parts of it are going to work exceptionally well, and parts of it are going to be absolutely useless. But the only way to find out which is which is for us to get started with it. So we're going to get the platinum. We're going to head back down to a very large ice lake, the largest that we can find. We're going to probably set up some mineral extraction with Mantis support on the lake while we build the vehicle so that we can have everything that we need. We won't have to worry about materials. And we'll get started, and we'll talk about the various different things that we're going to try and incorporate onto this massive vehicle slash ship slash outpost on the ice lake, back on the planet in the gravity, not on the moon. So if you want to be notified when I add that episode and other episodes, you can always subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on social media. Links for social media in the information box below the video. Feel free to leave your comments and feedback. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.